Eric coming to go to school when he missing him about 8 years old, the same time in July the 31st.
Erica Wills was one of 5 primary school girls that were slaughtered in the most gruesome way between October 1998 and February 2000. Their link: all were tortured and brutally stabbed countless times to all parts of their bodies. 13-year-old Shirley Nicholas, 12-year-old Jackie Malik, 14-year-old Naomi Hernandez, and 9-year-olds Jay Blades and Wills. It has been almost 2 decades since the shocking murders, but the memories and unsolved mystery of their deaths still haunt their families.
Our old-time neighbor, Michael Williams now, he approached us and say, let me take you to school. That time, me, my sister, and that girl who usually went to school together, he said to us, let's take you to school. And my sister wanted to go because she was already late for morning class. But I get this feeling that I just said no. I don't know why I said it, but I just said no. We all went to school. And after that, when it's time to go home for lunch, I went for my sister so that we can go home. And the teacher says that my sister didn't come back to her class. The girl that we usually, all of us come to school together, she said someone says they want to see my sister outside. And I said, who? She said, a man in a car, a dark man. I don't know if he's tall or strapped. All she says it was a dark man. And I ran home quickly and I said it to my grandmother. And we went looking from that time until the night, no answer.
I gone with one of my niece. One of my niece come and ask her to make it go with her. And I get her ready and everything and I make it go with her.
Where did they go?
Wrong by Anglican school. Wrong by Southern Gone, two of them. Then afterwards she sent her back. She sent her back make it come home, like I say, ready for come home. And she never bring her back by herself. She never bring her, she sent her by herself.
It was 8th of September, my daughter, Shirley Nicholas, went to school and she didn't return. When I went home from work, she usually be the first to come home and eat, you know? And when I find out that her rest of brother and sister came home and she didn't reach, but she usually be the first, I figured that something was wrong. So I went to school and found out, and the teacher told me that she wasn't at school. And then I knew something was wrong because my children are not the type to go around missing from school or things like that.
Little did they know that their daughters and sister would turn up dead. It was some 100 meters down this feeder road where the mutilated and dismembered body of Jackie Malik was discovered back on March 25th, 1999. This was 2 days after she was reported missing by family members. Ironically, it is also where the Homeland Memorial Park, a resting place for the dead, now sits.
She was found with multiple stab wounds. Her left arm was no longer there, and she get run over a car, and her body was face down in the water, in a little pond of water.
It's been 18 years since the body of Shirley Nicholas was discovered on the George Price Highway, and that same amount of years that her mother, June Gabriel, revisited the location. The last time she was there was when police took her to the site to identify the body of her eldest daughter. It was a month after Shirley had gone missing.
She was found with a lot of stab wound all over her body. Her arm was almost off. Her face was cut open.
The horrific homicides of these children are still etched in the minds of most Belizeans. Malik's body was dismembered while huge slashes were found on 3. But in the case of Erica Wills, some skeletal remains along with a lock of her hair and some accessories were found in the Gracie Rock village. It was evident that there was a serial killer lurking in the old capital and his target, innocent and vulnerable young girls. She was found in someone else's clothes, and apparently that indicated that another little girl was missing.
Yeah, an ex-girl was missing. Her name was J. Blaze. She was found in J. Blaze's clothes right at the scene.
In the months ahead, Belizeans likened the murderer to Jack the Ripper, an unidentified serial killer. Pathologist Dr. Mario Estradaban back in 2000 made an interesting revelation. His autopsy revealed that the girls were heinously murdered after their bodies were numbed with alcohol and drugs. The killer or killers immobilized the little girls before taking their lives, using the same weapon each time.
On the neck, they have 2 characteristics. Some of them have puncture characteristics and superficial characteristics, and the final ones are slicing injuries, like when you are slicing something or producing the last injury to be sure that the victims may die. I would like to say that the way how those little girls were killed are the same way, and I believe is been doing it by the same perpetrator. Yes, it is the same instrument. All of them has characteristics of being produced by a sharp cutting instrument. Sharp characteristics. This instrument is similar of a surgical instrument.
Only one person was charged for the murders, and that was in relation to Malik. A Belize City mechanic, Michael Williams, was arrested and charged, but due to insufficient evidence, the then 40-year-old resident was exonerated of the crime.
I didn't tell the police that he did it, but he was the only one that wanted to drop us to school. Why he didn't never ask us to drop us to school.
So why then?
No idea. So, and he looked all angry and furious. So, and he didn't want to drop me or the other girl specifically. He wanted to drop only my sister.
Was there anyone that was arrested or detained while this investigation occurred into the murder of Shirley? And does your family suspect anyone?
No,
any person?
No, not that I know of.
So where is that case now? Is it just up in the air?
It's concrete. It's under the ground.
A reward of $100,000 had been offered for information or details that could lead to the conviction of the serial killer.
At the time that the ad was released, there were some tips, and they were passed on to the police, and they did investigate those tips. But what they found out was that the people that those tips were geared towards were people that they had already investigated and found no grounds to arrest them.
So 16 years later, here's what we know. Whoever killed these girls possibly had some kind of medical training. It appears that there was more than one person involved, and at some point in time, at least 3 of the girls were held at the same place. There was no evidence to support sexual abuse, so the motivation for their killing is perplexing, and after all these years, one has come forward with credible information. But there are many lingering questions. Who is this serial killer? Is he waiting to attack in the future? Only time will tell, but until then, the identity of Jack remains Belize's greatest unsolved mystery. Dwayne Moody for News 5.